Florida retirement. You've seen the ads. Palm trees, golf courses, beaches that look photoshopped, and then you check the prices. A condo in Naples, $500,000, a house near Sarasota? Try $600K, and that's before the HOA fees that could fund a small nation. Here's what nobody's telling you. The best retirement deal in Florida isn't on the coast. It's not in Tampa or Orlando or any place you've seen on a postcard. It's in towns you've probably never heard of, where a house costs less than a new pickup truck and your property taxes can drop to basically zero if you know which exemptions to claim. We're talking about 20 rural Florida towns where retirees are living on $2,000 a month, comfortably. Places where the state's famous zero income tax combines with local property exemptions that coastal retirees can't even qualify for. And yeah, we're talking about real healthcare access, not some clinic 90 miles away. Blountstown, Inverness, Arcadia, these aren't resorts. They're actual communities with libraries and farmers markets and people who wave at you in the grocery store. Let's break down exactly how rural Florida delivers what the beaches promised but can't afford to give you anymore. Blountstown. Population so small it doesn't show up on most Florida maps. And the average home price? $155,862. That's not a typo. That's cheaper than a down payment in Fort Myers. Blountstown sits along the Apalachicola River in the Panhandle, and it holds the distinction of being located in the single cheapest county in Florida according to the state's own price level index. Calhoun scores an 89.59. Meaning everything from groceries to haircuts costs about 10% less than the state average. But here's where it gets interesting. That low home price isn't just about buying cheap. It unlocks something called the long-term resident exemption. If you're 65 or older, live there for 25 years, and your household income stays under $37,694, you can exempt your entire property value from county and city taxes. The catch? Your home has to be worth less than $250,000. Coastal Florida retirees making the same income living in the same house for 25 years? They're locked out. Their homes are worth $400,000, $500,000. They pay full freight, same state, same tax code, completely different outcome based purely on geography. Blountstown isn't flashy, it's quiet, it's rural, and it's the closest thing to a financial cheat code Florida offers. Inverness. Right in the center of the state, wrapped around the Sala Apopka chain of lakes. Median sale price recently hit $216,000, and that number dropped 12.9% year over year. Inverness has been a retiree destination for decades, which means the infrastructure's already there. 55-plus communities, actual amenities, the Wauchula State Trail running right through town for biking and walking. The crime rate sits well below state averages, and the town has that lakeside tranquility that usually costs you an extra $200,000 anywhere near Tampa. The county's price level index, 91.52. That's 8.5% below the state average, confirming what you already suspected. Your money stretches further here, not just housing. And if you think that price drop means the market's collapsing, think again. It means you're buying in a correction, not a competition. Coastal markets are still bidding wars. Inverness, seller-friendly turned buyer-friendly exactly when retirees with fixed capital need it to. You're still close enough to hit Tampa or Orlando in under 90 minutes if you want a Costco run or a specialist appointment, but day to day, you're on a lake paying a fraction of what beachfront dreamers are hemorrhaging. Sebring. This town shows up on every best affordable Florida retirement list for a reason, so it's been doing this for 40 years. The county consistently ranks in the lowest 15% for cost of living statewide. Median listing prices hover around $312,900, but the real tell is the rental market. Highlands County has one of Florida's lowest median rent indices, meaning even the people who can't buy are finding relief. Sebring's known for the International Raceway, yes, actual car racing, but retirees come for the active communities and Lake Istokpoga access. HCA Florida Highlands Hospital is right there, full service, which neutralizes the usual rural healthcare panic. Here's what makes Sebring different from a lot of inland towns. It feels intentional. The 55-plus developments aren't afterthoughts. The amenities aren't generic. It's a town that decided decades ago to build for retirees and actually followed through. You're not pioneering some unproven market. You're moving to a place that's been quietly perfecting the retirement value equation since the 80s. Arcadia. Arcadia's got that classic Florida ranching vibe. Wide streets, oak trees, genuinely friendly people who aren't trying to sell you a timeshare. It's small town in the way that actually works. Parks, golf courses, fishing spots, and a main street that looks like it escaped from 1952. The county's rural designation keeps congestion non-existent, and the cost structure stays low because the labor market isn't inflated by tech jobs or tourism wages. That price level index score means your fixed income isn't just covering housing, it's covering life. And here's the kicker. Arcadia's close enough to Wauchula that you're within range of Advent Health Wauchula, which just got named a top rural hospital by the Leapfrog Group. That's not some participation trophy. That's a facility demonstrating measurable safety standards in hand hygiene, staff collaboration, error prevention, the stuff that actually matters when you're 70 and need more than a Band-Aid. Low cost, high safety, actual community. That's the Arcadia math. Wauchula. If you're looking for maximum rural peace, this is it. But here's what separates Wauchula from other tiny farm towns. That hospital. Advent Health. Wauchula isn't just adequate, it's ranked. Top rural hospital designation from Leapfrog means it's outperforming metrics that a lot of urban facilities struggle with. The agricultural setting keeps prices low and the pace slower than anywhere on the coast. You're not going to find a Whole Foods. You're also not going to find traffic, noise, or a tax bill that makes you rethink retirement. Wauchula works because it flips the rural healthcare script. Instead of accepting a 60-mile drive for anything serious, you've got quality care in your backyard. That changes the entire risk calculation for retirees who've been told rural means risky. It doesn't. Not here. Bartow. Polk County, just south of Lakeland, population 18,501, and here's the number that should make you pause. Median purchase prices have been reported under $100,000 in certain periods. Yes, that's within an hour of Tampa and Orlando. Yes, the town's nicknamed City of Oaks and Azaleas because of its 1800s architecture and tree-lined streets. And yes, you can hit Legoland or Bok Tower Gardens in under 30 minutes. Polk County's price level index sits at 98.2, closer to the state average, but Bartow itself punches below that thanks to its scale and slower development. You're getting Central Florida accessibility without Central Florida pricing. The trade-off? You're not on a lake, you're not near the beach. But if your retirement plan involves grandkids visiting theme parks and you not spending $500,000 to make that possible, Bartow's doing something right. Lake City. This is North Florida's regional hub, which means services, infrastructure, and access. Housing's trending higher here. Median listings around $381,700 because demand's real. Lake City sits at the crossroads of I-75 and I-10, making it the gateway to Florida's spring country. Osceola National Forest, Itchitucknee Springs, Olino State Park. If you retired to fish, kayak, and hike, this is your base camp. Healthcare isn't a hope and a prayer. HCA Florida Lake City Hospital is a 141-bed acute care facility with primary stroke center and chest pain center accreditation. That's not small-town wishful thinking. That's real capacity. Lake City works for retirees who want rural benefits but refuse to give up quick interstate access. You're 2 hours from Jacksonville, 90 minutes from Gainesville, and surrounded by some of the most beautiful natural water in the state. It costs more than Blountstown. It costs less than anywhere coastal with comparable access. Dade City. Dade City is old Florida in the way that usually gets sold to tourists for $40 a ticket, except here, you just live in it. Pioneer heritage, preserved courthouse square, antique shops that aren't performative. The annual Kumquat Festival is an actual thing, and people actually go. Pasco County's price level index is 98.4, basically state average. But Dade City's slower pace and smaller scale keep costs reasonable compared to the county's coastal sprawl near Tampa. You're inland, but you're not isolated. Tampa's an hour away. You've got Publix, Walgreens, and all the chain infrastructure that makes daily life easy. You're just not paying beach proximity premiums for it. Madison. This is deep North Florida, almost Georgia. And if your retirement fantasy involves land, space, and nobody bothering you, Madison delivers that at a cost structure most of the state can't touch. It's small. It's southern. It's the kind of place where homesteading retirees go to grow vegetables, raise chickens, and stop pretending they enjoy traffic. The cost of living is so low it skews the county's median income data downward, which tells you everything about how far a dollar stretches. Madison isn't trying to be a destination. It's a genuine small town that happens to be in a state with zero income tax and property exemptions that can eliminate your housing costs if you qualify. If your plan is simplicity and savings, Madison's one of the best bets in Florida. Live Oak, Suwannee County. The Suwannee River defines this town. Tubing, kayaking, fishing. If you retire to be outside on the water, Live Oak is purpose-built for that life. And because it's rural North Florida, you're getting that lifestyle without competing with wealthy second-home buyers. Live Oak uses Lake City as its regional service hub, meaning you're not alone out here. You've got backup infrastructure 30 minutes away. The appeal here is narrow but intense. Water people love it. Everyone else might find it too quiet. But if you know your water people, the cost to lifestyle ratio is unbeatable. Dunnellon. You're right next to the World Equestrian Center in Wauchula, which means this area has money floating around, just not in a way that inflates your cost of living. Dunnellon's claim is the Rainbow River, crystal clear, spring-fed, and one of the most beautiful waterways in the state. You're also close enough to Wauchula's medical infrastructure that healthcare isn't a gamble. This is the rural equestrian blend. You get the cost benefits of Marion County's inland positioning, but you're adjacent to a wealthy niche community that brings services and quality of life amenities without turning Dunnellon itself into a high-cost zone. It's the best of both. Rural pricing, nearby upscale infrastructure. Okeechobee City. You're sitting on the edge of Lake Okeechobee, the second largest freshwater lake entirely within the U.S. bass fishing. Here isn't a hobby, it's the culture. The town's built around it. RV communities, winter snowbirds, and a retiree services economy that knows exactly what you need because you're the customer base. The lake access is the draw, but the cost structure is the reason people stay. Okeechobee delivers waterfront living at a fraction of coastal pricing, and the town's retiree focus means amenities aren't accidental. If your retirement involves a boat, Okeechobee's been waiting for you. Chiefland. Levy County, price level index 92.01, Nature Coast positioning, which means you're between Gainesville and Wauchula for services, but living in a town that feels 50 years behind in the best way. Manatee Springs State Park is the centerpiece. Crystal clear springs, actual manatees in winter, and a pace of life that doesn't acknowledge the existence of rush hour. Chiefland works for retirees who want outdoor access and low costs, and who don't mind a 45-minute drive when they need something bigger than a hardware store. It's niche, but if you fit the niche, it's perfect. Perry. Historically known as the forest capital of the world, which tells you exactly what the economy here is built on. Perry's quiet. Gulf Coast proximity without Gulf Coast pricing. Timber industry roots keep the town grounded and costs low, and the lack of resort development means you're not competing with vacation money. This is a working small town that happens to be affordable for retirees, not a retiree town trying to seem authentic. If you want real, Perry's as real as it gets. Bronson, Levy County. Same low price level index as Chiefland, 92.01. But Bronson's smaller, like actually small. This is maximum quiet, minimal congestion. If your retirement goal is space and solitude without leaving Florida, Bronson checks the box. It's not for everyone, but for the retirees it's exactly right. Marianna. Central Panhandle positioning with Civil War history and Chipola River access. Marianna functions as a smaller regional hub, meaning you've got services without sprawl. The cost structure is Panhandle low, and the historical character adds a layer most purely agricultural towns lack. It's not the cheapest town on the list, but it offers a blend of affordability and regional functionality that makes daily life easier than deeper rural options. Moore Haven. If Okeechobee City is Lake Okeechobee for people who want amenities, Moore Haven is Lake Okeechobee for people who want isolation. This is micro-community living. Extreme value, extreme quiet, and a lifestyle built entirely around the lake. You're not close to anything, that's the point. Apalachicola. This is the exception to the inland-only rule. Apalachicola is coastal, but it's not a resort town. It's a working waterfront with oyster culture, historic architecture, and an arts scene that emerged organically, not through developer marketing. The cost is higher than inland panhandle options. County Price Level Index estimated around 96.02, but it's still a fraction of Naples, Sarasota, or anywhere that calls itself luxury coastal. You're getting Gulf access, seafood, and culture without the South Florida price tag. That's rare. Jasper. Hamilton County, population 14,228, median income $56,300. And you're right on the Georgia border. Jasper's appeal is positional. You're close enough to South Georgia infrastructure to access anything you need, but you're a Florida resident, which means zero state income tax. It's the tax optimization play. Live in Florida, shop in Georgia, pay neither state's income tax because Florida doesn't have one, it's specific. But if you know, you know. White Springs. Same low-cost structure as Jasper, but with a cultural twist. Stephen Foster Folk Culture Center State Park is here, which brings music festivals, history programming, and an unexpected layer of cultural activity for a town this small. White Springs offers the Hamilton County cost benefits with a preservation-focused identity. You're not just retiring cheap, you're retiring somewhere that cares about its story. 20 towns, 4 regions. One unifying reality: Florida's best retirement value isn't where the brochures tell you to look. The math is simple. Coastal Florida prices you out. Rural Florida tax exempts you down to almost nothing. But only if your home value stays under $250,000. That's not an accident. It's a structural advantage built into the system that only works if you choose geography intentionally. Blountstown at $155,862. Inverness at $216,000. Arcadia at $241,585. These aren't just cheap houses. They're the key to unlocking property tax relief that doesn't exist in Sarasota or Fort Myers, no matter how long you live there. The healthcare question is real, but it's manageable. Top-rated rural hospitals exist. Regional hubs are within an hour. Advanced practice providers are filling the gaps. And the state's actively recruiting physicians into underserved counties through 2024 legislation designed to fix the exact problem retirees worry about. You're not sacrificing safety for savings. You're choosing a different math, one where your fixed income funds a comfortable life instead of barely covering a mortgage. Rural Florida isn't a compromise, it's a recalibration. And for retirees who know how to verify local exemptions with their county property appraiser and strategically pick towns near quality healthcare, it's the best financial decision the Sunshine State offers.